people feel they need to do something to make an improvement or to make a change. This concept of having to do more or do something to control or to fix a situation, a mindset, an energy, or a feeling. I find this to be true very often just alone in yoga classes. I see someone having an issue with a certain body part, maybe it's a hip, and they feel the need that they constantly need to stretch it, or they need to strengthen it, or they need to be doing something with it in order to make it better. This idea that doing more will fix the situation, when in fact this is not true. Oftentimes it's the constant state of doing that is wearing it down. Continuing with this image of the hip. Instead, what might be happening is we've focused so much attention on, let's say, the right hip, that the left hip has had to take on all this additional work, and we begin to wear out the left hip. And so we're leaving ourselves in a state of depletion. And rather than stretch, 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 or strengthen, 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 what really needed to happen was actually just resting and just being in the moment and letting go of the tension. Oftentimes, this act of doing is a need for control. It's attachment to wanting to control or manipulate the situation to give us a sense of power and safety. But what actually needs to happen is that we need to rest into the moment. And in the example of the hips, if we were to rest on the floor, let's say in Savasana, that the hips can begin to balance out, and we might actually begin to develop some awareness that one hip is growing stronger and wearing out, while this other one is actually really soft. And the imbalance is how we're holding ourselves and how we're bringing in tension to try to control the situation. We can apply this lesson into our life, into our mentality as well. So we can ask ourselves, with current problems that are going on, with current situations within our lives, are we trying to control it and, in a sense, bring more tension in? Are we creating tension just by trying to do, trying to fix? Or are we stepping back, allowing and observing, and allowing ourselves to have some awareness, to move out of survival and into thrive? We're looking at bringing in more of being in the present moment. This quote that I'm sure we've seen, the be here now. So that when a situation arises, notice our need to want to do something, to want to fix something. And sometimes that is the answer, yes, of course. But first, we need to pause. By allowing ourselves to pause, ground ourselves in the present moment, and notice, is it our ego? And in yoga and psychology, the ego is this need to separate ourselves, this need to identify as and I am special, and I am different, and I need to be different. And we can also develop this I'm not enough or I'm not worthy as well. But the ego says that we're separate, versus mindfulness. And in yoga, the word is buddhi. Our buddhi says that we're connected, and that we actually become more selfless by thinking about the whole and how we're contributing to the whole just by how we show up. So it's a neat concept, whether you believe it or not. You should try it on, that however I think is how I'm dropping, let's say, little color drops of dye into a pool of water. If I'm thinking positive thoughts, then I'm not dropping any color dye into the water. If I'm thinking negative thoughts or thinking myself not being good enough or not worthy, or I'm thinking I need to control the situation, then I'm putting little drops of color in, and just these little drops will start to change. And the more it happens from everyone, the water starts to become murky and colored and changed and not clear. So we can think about it from that perspective, and that's the beauty of our mind. Is our mind is a tool. It's not us. And as a tool, we can try on different perspectives. Essentially, we're all walking around sharing different perspectives. We've all gathered different perspectives. Perspectives are just like different glasses or different lenses in how we view the world. And so at any point, we can say, I don't like this perspective. I want to try on a different perspective. And you can try it on. You can say, this is interesting. And you can either keep it or you can give it away. You can lay it down and let someone else pick it up. We can gain perspectives from books. We can gain perspectives from participating in a challenge. We can gain perspectives from talking and hearing people's stories or learning courses. So essentially, all throughout life, we're just searching for different perspectives that inspire us a little bit more. So keep developing this awareness to figure out what is your perspective and how did you gain this perspective? Was it given to you? Did you develop it? So today, our focus is letting go of control and being more here in the now. Allowing ourselves to come into awareness, to find a pause before we move into anything. And the more we practice our pause, the shorter and shorter the pause can get in our physical time and in our emotional time. It stays the same. It's just we shorten it in the physical realm. All right. Find your seat, whether you're sitting on the floor or you're sitting in a chair. If you're sitting in a chair, feet are flat on the floor. Then we can allow the palms to come up, whether resting on your lap, your knees, a table. Notice this need for control. To shape a to-do list around the day. This need to control children or spouses, partners. Need to control employees at work. Notice. Are we allowing ourselves to move with the flow? Allow, teach, guide? Or are we hurting, pushing, shoving, pulling? Notice just those word shifts, what those might feel like in your body. Often, the more we try to control, we might feel this at a physical level of our hips twisting one way and our shoulders twisting the other. Feels like our spine is knotted up. So we can practice this on the physical plane of relaxing the muscles, the nerves, all along the spine. Let's take a little body scan, noticing with our hips and our bottom resting on the surface below us. Do you notice a difference in your left hip and right hip? Without judging, just noticing. Without shifting, just finding awareness. Right and left hip. And we can bring more awareness in by activating. So let's give that left glute a little squeeze and then relax. And then the right glute a little squeeze and relax. Notice, did the squeeze feel different? And then let's begin to shift and move just a little bit within our seat so that they can feel equal pressure on the floor. And that might be leaning a little bit more to one side, might be rotating your shoulders, might be pulling in your core a little bit more. Notice how if we're trying to shift and control, we might be tensing other areas, going, oh, I'm trying to bring all this into alignment. And then just allow yourself to soften into it. Rather than tensing up to shift, what if we could find the areas that were already tense and begin to let go of those? Notice in the low back any tension that's in the spine. See if we can just shift that tension a little bit more to the core and then relax and soften into it. Notice any tension in the chest or the back. Breathe into it. And instead of creating any additional tension, can we just shift? Or can we just relax? Maybe there's this tension pulling your chest closed. You can just relax the shoulders. Let the elbows hang a little heavier. And one that's super common is the jaw. Notice any tension in the jaw and just release it. Maybe you give your jaw a little wiggle. Maybe you notice you're pushing your head forward. And you can just simply pull it back a little and let your head rest on the spine. Let your shoulders rest. We're just finding some alignment to rest into. Just like in life, we find alignment by resting into our values. Our spine could be considered a representation of our alignment with our values. Notice your breath. Notice any patterns to shift back into a tension posture. Maybe it's that you're constantly leaning onto one hip, and so you start to tense the other muscles. And although that might feel comfortable, it's because we've gained comfortability with our tension. And our mind does that as a tool to help us feel safe, to expend less energy, to just repeat what it is that we do most often. And more we can catch the thoughts or catch the tension and bring ourselves back to center, back to alignment, we can reprogram our body and mind to say, this is what I want. This is what is best. Notice your breath, the in, the out. Begin to even our breath by inhaling for 4, exhaling for 4. Inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Continue that count in your mind. Using this breath to cleanse out the tension. With each exhale, letting go of any new or rediscovered tension. And if you're having a hard time sticking with the counting, maybe you'd like to continue to explore the body, right and left, working your way up and down the spine. Take your time and allow yourself to really be in that moment. Not judging, just having curiosity to explore, to discover awareness. Be here now. And if the mind starts to get busy, as it's looking for something to do or to fixate on, then you might shift and come back to the breath. Just this repetitive, pointless counting of in for 4, out for 4. Telling our mind that it doesn't have to be busy, it doesn't have to be doing. But we give it just a little bit of doing to allow it to slow and relax. As we slow it down, we can begin the healing process. Retraining the mind, healing our energy. Releasing the emotions that have been locked up or stored, shoved down. Releasing the tension in our body that's caused by shoving down those emotions, tension, stress. It's the act of undoing. And here we'll take our 10 breaths, and in and out counts as 1 breath. If you have a lot to release, you can always exhale through the mouth, releasing the jaw. Take another big deep breath, a bigger inhale. Let the chest open. Maybe start to open through the arms. A big exhale, release the jaw if you haven't already. As you come back to opening the eyes, notice what awareness that you felt. Notice if you can keep with these deep breaths today. This inhale, this relaxing of the jaw, exhale. Pick a body part to use as your focus and as your teacher today. Whether it's your jaw or your hips or a spot in your back that maybe has been causing tension. Maybe it's a hand that keeps tensing up like a computer mouse. Notice where it is that you tend to hold a lot of tension. Maybe it's the twisting to one side. This is what I tend to do. And allow that to become your teacher today. So that every time you notice that you've sunk back over, you're like, oh, I did it again. Interesting. Without judging, you're like, what thoughts or what busyness did I get into that coaxed me into coming back into this habitual pattern? Curiosity. And then allow yourself to shift, to release. Take a little pause, deep breath. Release that tension. And then try to stay in the present moment with that. Whether you're typing on a computer, maybe it's feeling the computer keys and trying to keep this consistent breath while you're doing your work today. And then if you start to get a little stressed, the breath tends to get shallow and it might speed up. Maybe it just diminishes and you're like, how am I even getting oxygen? Notice these things, but often our tell will be shifting into these habitual patterns where we're twisting the spine or we're tensing into the spine or into the hips. For me, sometimes my shoulders come up, so I remind myself to relax them down. I give them a little shake. I might give them a squeeze and a release. And then I might take a few breaths here. You can always do your 10 breaths. You could do 5 breaths. You could set a timer for 2 minutes. Whatever is available to you, you utilize. And circumstances will change in the future, and we continue to utilize what's available. We go with the flow rather than trying to shift or control. Take another deep breath. Let go of it all. And then comment under the comments and let us all know so that we can see these patterns of where are you holding tension? What is your tell? Is it your shoulders coming to your ears? Is it a twist of the spine? Is it a lean? Is it something in the hips? Is it your hands? Is it just this overall, you feel like your skin is getting tighter? And sometimes people will create the wrinkles in their forehead. So check out, keep finding this awareness. And if you're like, I can't find it, I'm getting frustrated with myself, you won't find it that way. Just sit into it. And if it's just finding peace in the moment, then just find peace in the moment. If you are struggling learning body awareness and stepping into our body, embodying our body, I urge you to check in with the senses and retrain yourself. Whether it's noticing your bottom on the chair, giving yourself some gentle touch, and just spending time noticing what that feels like. Breathing and expanding into the body to feel what that feels like. You're going to tap into your senses. So that's for those who maybe are having a little bit harder time recognizing their tell. But if you have your tell, comment below if you're having a hard time with it, which is very, very common for those who struggle, who are more in survival mode and been in it for prolonged periods. So be gentle with yourself. It's all a practice. It's all a practice. And we just keep practicing. And then suddenly it's like, oh my gosh, I felt it. That's it. And it's a beautiful thing. Thank you for joining me today in day 4 of our 10-day meditation challenge, From Surviving to Thriving. I'm Izzy Nally, your mind-body therapist, and I will see you tomorrow.